My name is George, and I'm 31 years old. I'm divorced. When my marriage fell apart, everything in my life came crashing down with it. My wife took the house, the savings, everything that had value. After the divorce, I was left with nothing except an overwhelming sense of emptiness and exhaustion. I was too tired to keep explaining myself to people who had already made up their minds about me. The only person who reached out was my older brother Michael. He offered me a room in his house, asked for nothing in return, and never made me feel like a burden. I was grateful, but I also felt ashamed. For a man needing help can feel like admitting defeat, and I knew people would judge me for it. I tried to make myself invisible. I woke up before dawn, went to work, came home late, and spent my evenings alone in my room. I saved every bit of money I could, convincing myself that this arrangement was only temporary. Soon enough, I told myself I would have my own place again and leave with whatever dignity I had left. I wanted to rebuild my life quietly, without causing trouble or attracting attention. Then Michael got married. Her name was Rachel. The moment she moved into the house, I felt a shift in the air. I understood immediately that I needed to be even more careful now. A divorced man living under the same roof as a married woman is always watched with suspicion, and I wasn't going to give anyone a reason to question my character. Rachel seemed kind at first. She smiled when we crossed paths, thanked me for small gestures, and spoke politely. But there was something in the way she looked at me that made me uncomfortable. Her gaze lingered just a little too long. Her attention felt too focused. I began avoiding her even more. I kept conversations short, stayed in my room as much as possible, and made sure I never crossed any boundaries. As the weeks passed, the weather outside grew colder and darker. Rain became a constant presence, drumming against the windows and filling the house with a heavy silence. The atmosphere inside felt tense, though I couldn't explain why. One rainy afternoon, the power went out. The house was dim and quiet. Michael was at work, and I was alone with Rachel. I stayed locked in my room, hoping the evening would pass without incident. That night, the rain intensified. It pounded against the roof and walls like something angry and relentless. Michael came home late, exhausted, and went straight to bed. Around midnight, I woke up feeling thirsty. I moved quietly through the dark hallway toward the kitchen, careful not to disturb anyone. The faint glow from a small lamp lit the room just enough for me to see. Rachel was standing there near the counter. Her hair was down and her expression was strangely calm, almost too awake for that hour. She looked at me and asked softly if I couldn't sleep. I nodded without saying much and reached for a glass of water, keeping my distance. Then she stepped closer. Her voice dropped even lower as she said, "You're always running away from me." I felt my chest tighten with unease. I told her I just wanted to live peacefully and meant no harm. The rain outside grew louder, hammering against the glass. Suddenly, without warning, Rachel moved with shocking speed. She grabbed the front of her dress and tore it violently. The sound of ripping fabric cut through the noise of the storm. I froze in place, unable to process what was happening. Then she screamed. It was a piercing, agonizing scream that shattered the silence of the house. She cried out that I had touched her, that I had tried to force myself on her. I stepped back in horror and told her to stop, that I had done nothing. But she collapsed to the floor, sobbing hysterically. She struck her own arm against the edge of the table, and I watched in stunned disbelief. The rain roared outside like it was trying to drown out the truth. Within seconds, I heard footsteps rushing down the hallway. Michael burst into the kitchen, his face filled with panic and fear. He saw Rachel on the floor, her dress torn, her face streaked with tears. Then he saw me standing there, frozen and helpless. She ran to him and buried herself in his arms, sobbing that she had tried to be kind to me, but I had misunderstood everything. She said I had waited until he was asleep to attack her. I felt my throat close up. I tried to speak, tried to defend myself, but my words fell apart before they could form sentences. Michael stared at me with eyes full of pain and betrayal. He didn't yell, he didn't ask questions. He simply looked at me and said one word. Why? I had no answer that could save me. There was nothing I could say that would make him believe me over her. That night, he told me to leave. I packed my few belongings while the rain continued to pour down outside, washing away everything I thought I had rebuilt. Rachel stood in the hallway watching me, her face calm again, almost peaceful. Michael wouldn't look at me. He turned his back as I walked past him toward the door. I stepped out into the freezing rain. It soaked through my clothes within seconds and mixed with the tears I could no longer hold back. I stood there in the storm, numb and broken, and understood something cruel and unfair about the world. A man who has already fallen is the easiest to push down again. A man with no power is the easiest to accuse. And the truth is always quieter than a lie told loudly enough. I had done nothing wrong, yet I lost my brother, my shelter, and whatever was left of my dignity. Some storms come from the sky and drench you with rain, but the worst storms are the ones that live inside houses, hidden behind closed doors, waiting to destroy you when you least expect it.